Let's talk about the menstrual cycle. Hello there. So below me, you will see a menstrual cycle chart. This is the entire menstrual cycle. And yes, the menstrual cycle is much more than just when you're bleeding. The menstrual cycle is all-encompassing of everything, including ovulation and all of the things in between. So you'll see a few different aspects of this chart. So first we're going to start with the cervical mucus part, or cervical fluid. A lot of people don't like the word mucus, and that's totally fine. This is simply the fluid that comes through the cervix to let us know that we are or are not fertile. And fertility is much more than just conception or achieving pregnancy. Fertility is the overall vitality and vibrance that we hold as women. The main marker of fertility is ovulation. Now, in the chart below, you'll see over here is my menstruation in red. And then we have these gray boxes here indicating that I am not bleeding, but I am not yet ovulating. Then we have these two different colored blues, which indicate ovulation or cervical fluid or like a fertile window. Then we go back to these gray boxes that indicate that I am not bleeding and not ovulating. And then we have some more cervical fluid here at the end, and then a little bit of spotting. So the cervical fluid here that indicates ovulation or your fertile window, this is what lets us know that our bodies are actually healthy and doing what they're supposed to do. Ovulation is the star of the menstrual cycle, and if you are not ovulating, like when you're on hormonal birth control, or if you have amenorrhea or other instances where ovulation is not occurring, it's actually your body letting you know that something is wrong. This is because ovulation does not only affect when we want to have a baby, but this is because ovulation affects our immune system, our brain health, our breast health, our thyroid function, and our bone density, which means that every cycle that we are ovulating, we are depositing into our bank of health and wellness. And every cycle that we are not ovulating, we are taking from that bank of health and wellness. Women who are not ovulating consistently throughout their cycles are actually more likely after menopause to be diagnosed with things like dementia, Alzheimer's, and osteoporosis. So ovulating is a key factor to your overall health. And charting your cycle in this way is the best way to let you know that your unique body is ovulating. There are also other ways to track ovulation as well. I don't have it on this particular chart, but I also track my cervical position. So your cervix moves throughout the menstrual cycle. During and right after our period, our cervix is low and closed. When we are checking our cervical position, it will also feel firm. Firm feels like the tip of your nose. When we are approaching ovulation, the cervix will actually move higher up and start to open. Once we are ovulating, our cervix is the highest that it will be, and it is the most open that it will be. And after ovulation, it then begins to lower back down and to close up again. Sperm can only enter the cervix when it is open, and sperm can only live in cervical mucus or cervical fluid for up to 5 days. Which leads me to the point of this post. You cannot get pregnant every day of your menstrual cycle like we are taught. There is a 5 to 7 day window where you are able to get pregnant throughout your entire menstrual cycle. Because sperm can only live in cervical mucus or cervical fluid for up to 5 days, and once the egg is released in ovulation, it's only viable for 12 to 24 hours. Women who are using hormonal birth control for contraceptive purposes are 9 times out of 10 using it because they think that they can get pregnant any time of their cycle. But I'm here to tell you that's not the case. Our body is so much more intelligent than we give it credit for. The last and probably most prominent biomarker that you can use to confirm that you're ovulating is your basal body temperature. So you can see that these temperatures here at the top, where it looks kind of like wonky and then kind of goes like this. Throughout the cycle, your temperatures are fairly around the same range until you hit about ovulation, and then you see kind of like a dip in the temperature, and then it rises again. Once these temperatures begin to rise, and you can see a definite shift of at least 0.4 degrees from the last 6 temperatures that we see here, and those temperatures stay high for 3 days, you have confirmed that you have ovulated. These temperatures will then stay high through the rest of the cycle until menstruation. This not only confirms ovulation, but also indicates that progesterone has taken over for the rest of the cycle. With these 3 biomarkers, we can confirm ovulation because ovulation cannot be predicted, it can only be confirmed. So any period apps that you're using that are predicting your ovulation or your menstruation are basing your cycle off of a 28-day general cycle where everyone ovulates on day 14. But everyone does not always ovulate on day 14, and you can actually ovulate on different days in different cycles. Your body is unique, and each cycle will be unique. This cycle was 30 days long for me, and I ovulated around day 15, day 14. Charting your menstrual cycle can tell you so much about your overall health, and the biomarkers that we observe are super helpful for understanding our health in terms of our fertility. Every cycle is different, every body is different, and it's okay if your cycle does not look exactly like this. Normal cycles can range anywhere from 21 to 37 days, with ovulation happening anywhere from day 14 to day 21. A delayed menstruation is almost always due to a delayed ovulation because a true menstruation does not happen without ovulation. If you're using hormonal birth control specifically for contraceptive purposes, consider the fact that it's completely shutting down ovulation and the cycle as a whole, that it's actually putting your body into a state of menopause rather than mimicking pregnancy like we're told, and that by shutting down the cycle, you're actually shutting down a very necessary conversation between your brain and your body that is affecting much more than just not getting pregnant. And honestly, why are we the ones who are working so hard to prevent pregnancy when men are the ones who can get thousands of women pregnant in a year every single day if they wanted to? We can only get pregnant once, maybe twice in a year. Ovulation is important. Our menstrual cycle as a whole is important. And if you want to learn more about charting and tracking your menstrual cycle for your overall health and wellness, give me a follow.